An APD undercover narcotics detective lies at UNM Hospital fighting for his life.
We would just ask that the community please pray for the recovery of this officer.
Hit by the bullet of a fellow undercover officer who we can confirm is a lieutenant.
This is just another example, an all too frequent example of how dangerous police work can be.
What? And of course, our questions there, what did go wrong and how could this have happened? It has been a day filled with so much emotion for the police department, but also for our community. It's also been a day filled with questions that need some answering. We're going to go into our team coverage tonight on this. Our crews have spent much of the day and the evening asking those questions. We're going to begin with Danielle Tedesco to take us through exactly what happened this morning at Tramway and Central.
Tessa, tonight we know it was two undercover officers working to bust two narcotic suspects when sources tell us that the detective was shot by his own lieutenant. Now tonight the scene is quiet, it's normal, but earlier today it was chaos.
The scene from up above Central near Tramway spread across three businesses. The McDonald's right in the center was where it all happened.
They were like Dodge trucks, and they followed this black vehicle in and then surrounded the vehicle so it couldn't back up or get out, and that's when the activity started with the shooting.
Wallace Anderson watched it all play out from inside the McDonald's, but couldn't hear what was happening because the thick glass on the windows blocked out any sound.
The other officer, I saw him leave the vehicle, and then he was hugging another officer. You know, like almost like a relief thing, you know.
Except it was likely anything but relief. We learned it was an undercover detective hit by friendly fire. Sources say his own superior shot him.
The officer is in surgery and being treated at UNM Hospital.
A heavy press conference with Chief Eden and Mayor Berry today. The visibly emotional chief could only tell us the detective was in critical condition and the two suspects they were working to capture were in custody.
So here's what we're still pushing to understand. Was there a scuffle with the suspects? Is that what sparked the shooting? We know that neither suspect was injured. We do know tonight that a female officer involved in that undercover operation was hit by shrapnel, minor injuries. She was treated and released. Now tomorrow, police are telling us they will give an update sometime. Live at Central and Tramway, Danielle Tedesco, KOB Eyewitness News 4.
And like Danielle just said, about 20 people were inside that McDonald's on Central near Tramway when this all happened. And many saw this entire thing go down. Can you really imagine you're grabbing a quick bite to eat and you see that all unfold?
My boys and I were getting in the truck when I heard the gunshots, and, you know, being a police officer, it just drew my attention towards the sound. And I just thought it was either fireworks, and it's alarming. It's alarming that, you know, stuff like that happens in our community. That, you know, people sometimes don't. You give them a command and they don't comply with that, and, you know, unfortunately, you know, we're trained to react to that threat. And
our team coverage continues right outside of UNM Hospital, where that detective is still recovering from surgery tonight. That's also where we find Ryan Luby this evening. Ryan.
Well, Tessa, it's going to be a long recovery. A very reliable, credible source tells me that the detective suffered extensive internal injuries. He is still in critical condition, and that source says that doctors are going to take it 12 hours at a time going forward. I can tell you, though, that the detective has a lot of support here at UNMH tonight, UNM Hospital. Some have stayed the evening, others have merely passed through. There's actually a briefing room set up for them where they can be with one another and simply learn how their colleague is doing. I know the chief and a number of the top brass from APD are here with them. I understand the officer who got shot is very beloved within the department. I learned his lieutenant, the superior, the one who pulled the trigger, is equally as beloved. Both of the officers have a tremendous amount of support here, and understandably so. This was obviously not supposed to happen today, but again, the officer who suffered extensive internal injuries is here at UNM, still in critical condition. We will, of course, bring you the very latest on his condition throughout this newscast and on KOB.com. For now, we are live at UNM Hospital. I'm Ryan Luby, KOB Eyewitness News 4.
Some good new information there, Ryan. Thanks. And as he just told you, we have confirmed that it was an APD lieutenant who pulled that trigger. And Chris Ramirez has been looking into what's next for him and continues our team coverage tonight.
We, of course, have been searching for answers as to how this could have possibly happened. At this point, APD just cannot provide those answers to us. We were able to confirm today that that officer who shot the detective is now on paid administrative leave. Of course, that is very standard for an officer who goes through these sorts of things. We did confirm as well that immediately following the shooting, APD assigned a department psychologist to work with that officer. Sources tell me he is grief-stricken that he unknowingly shot a fellow officer. That officer was also extensively interviewed by APD detectives who are now working to figure out exactly what happened out here today. Now, we do expect APD to release more information as the weekend progresses. We, of course, will stay on top of this story and try to help you understand what exactly happened and why. Reporting from Tramway and Central, Chris Ramirez, KOB Eyewitness News 4.
And needless to say, it has been a very, very tough week for APD because last weekend, another APD officer was shot. Veteran officer Luke Olson is still recovering in the hospital as well tonight. He was shot early Saturday morning during a DWI traffic stop at San Mateo near Montgomery. Now, deputies arrested suspect Christopher Cook a few days later, and he has pleaded not guilty on all of the charges. Now,